last thing that we try to ask is if you guys can think of any funny story to make the kids laugh. Because the kids. So think of a good story and set it up, tell it well.
Unfortunately, I cannot tell any stories that we have that are hilarious to us because I don't think that you guys would play them on the radio.
We've got a good editor over there. Don't worry. Just tell it. Don't worry about it.
There was this one time that we were back in Rochester, New York, and basically what happened was we actually went to go see the Static X, the Deadlights, and Dope. So we went to the show, and after the show we all said, okay, well, what are we going to do now? And I actually have a brother that owns a strip club back there. But for some reason, Jamie and Justin, they didn't want to go to the strip club. They wanted to go smoke crack. So it dies. Now, I don't know why you choose crack over a strip club, but that's where the band kind of split up. So they went to go smoke crack with this guy that had a mullet that was stuck in like 1985. You probably still listen to 1984 by Van Halen. This
is all true.
And he had those really tight jeans on that were kind of faded. And I think they even had ripped knees and I don't know, a headbanger ball t-shirt on. I don't know what was going on, but this guy came out of the I don't know, and you could just tell that he'd been smoking crack since 1985. The most meticulous out of all of our makeup. See, because mine just splits off in the second song.
Are you whacking off? Is he jerking off for me? See, I put my makeup on, he gets excited.
Those guys left, and we said, okay, that's fine, whatever. So Sin, Devin, and I, we got in the car, and it took us the next, 2 hours to find the strip club that my brother owned. We walked into the strip club, and immediately walking in, Rochester is kind of a conservative place. We sat down, and all the girls kind of came over to us and started talking to us, and happened to mention they were having a party afterwards, and if we'd like to go. So we said sure, and we showed up to this party, and it started off very innocently, I suppose. But then Devin wound up taking an exorbitant amount of, what was it? Ecstasy. That's
Way
right.
too much ecstasy.
And then he kept getting obsessed with shoving glow sticks up his urethra. Now, I don't know why he had this fetish, but I couldn't be that concerned with it because I was too busy getting hit on by one of the strippers who actually took me in another room in the hotel next to hers, and where we proceeded to have fornication. And it had been a while, a good 3 days, I think. So I was very excited, and I really couldn't last as long as I would have liked to. But thank God these guys knocked on the door right when I was finished.
So this is how we get around.
I was complaining because I didn't have a place to sit down, and I'm like, oh wow, golf cart, key.
So I hopped up off the girl and opened the door, and unfortunately I forgot that I had no clothes on. So I answered the door with my
thing in his hand.
That's right. But luckily they brought me another girl who, and the roadie actually, which we forgot, Sylvester, where we proceeded to, we both had relationships with this other girl while I left the other girl in the bed watching while we were doing this. And this eventually just kind of, there was a DJ from the bouncer trying to break the door down, but I did not let that bother me because this woman said that I could not only sodomize her, but I could do anything else that I could think about. Now, I hadn't done good sodomy in a while, and I really, really wanted to get a part of that. Now, Rhodey was having some problems, and it was his first time performing in front of a crowd, so I had to tell him how it was done. I said, okay, well, move over because I have to perform some sodomy right now, because it is very, very important that I do this. The sodomy is being executed at this point in time. Unfortunately, when I was finished and I pulled out, there was presence left on my member. Now, not one to make anybody feel bad. I wanted to keep the festive mood of the entire evening. I walked over to the TV that was on where the other girl was watching, and I said, "Hey, watch this." And that is when I decided to slap my member with the presents on it up against the television set and splatter everything within a 5 feet radius. Basically, after that,
we got chased. We had to run.
We ran out of the hotel.
We ran out of the hotel, avoiding the bouncer, that was chasing us, stole some donuts on the way out,
And a bottle of tequila.
and a bottle of tequila, hopped in the car, and
Okay, I wanted to hear the end of the story, but there's no way I can use that story, man.
We told you.
I tried telling you. Well, there was this one time that we were on the road, and we were going to finish a very, very, very big finish with a Motorhead actually up in San Francisco. So what we did special for this show was that we decided to fly in a bunch of girls that I know to dance on stage while we were playing in front of like 4,000 people. So one of the girls that we were actually flying up happened to be down in Mexico with one of my ex-girlfriends who got wind that she was actually going to fly up there to dance for me. And all of a sudden when the day came and we went out on stage, we realized that we were missing one of the girls. And word got back to us later that evening that she was run over by a boat that my ex-girlfriend was driving and broke her leg. So she couldn't make it to the show. So I felt very bad for her.
Did you talk to the girl? Did you talk to your old girlfriend and say, why'd you run this girl over with a boat?
I never, ever, ever speak to my ex-girlfriend. I don't have to, because whenever I see her in public, she chases after me like I'm one of the Beatles.
She's crazy.
She yells out Ringo.
Are you ready for me? Are you ready for me?